what you're doing is not right.
What I'm doing is not right. Yes, I know. I'm lefty, so what I'm doing is left.
If not be lefty, who go do it? Yes. If you like, put her inside vault with padlock. Lefty, she go open. Appreciate the fact that you're finally falling in love with someone, so you're getting serious.
Now me and Stone eternity.
I swear, I can't wait to be the one providing for you.
Lefty Stone 2022.
Lefty, I can't just leave my boys like that now.
Our boys are not the problem. We stupid boys.
Why you come here, come do a show free? You know say that matasi they come, we never set one.
Something where God give you for free, you use and they make money. You they pay tax.
Tell them they're fit wrong, but they're not fit high though.
They don't want to want me for here. What did they happen for here now? Both of you will face the wrath of the law.
Eba! Mogabo they find me. Which of the Mogabo? Ijai! Woman to woman, physical to physical. Martin no yet.
I go kill her for you. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Shebi, I beg you. You shall want arrest my friend. Mama, I go choice I be coconut head. Mama, I know the year word. Mama, I get big here. I be coconut head.
I think 2020 did end on a very good note for the Nigerian movie industry, courtesy of Ghetto, the Saga. You know when they say you kept the good part for the later part of the year? Yeah, I think that's what happened right here. And guys, I'm about to tell you some of my favorite moments of this movie, because this one loud as a loud. And yes, I'll definitely not leave out some of the things I found not so interesting at the end of the day. This is the review of Ghetto, the Saga, and trust me when I say it's been a long time I saw a Nigerian movie that had some very violent scenes and I was cringing, because this one felt so real and I totally loved it. Let's check out what I think about this movie. Come with me. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Eniola, and yes, thank you for clicking this video to watch my review of Ghetto, the movie. And yes, well, in case you're new here, please like and subscribe. And if you've been here before, if you're an old subscriber, yeah, thank you for coming back. You know how we do it. This channel is for lifestyle, movie review, everything in my head basically. So I'm just gonna dive right into the review for today. Ghetto, the Saga is finally out in the cinema. It was released on the 25th of December and it's got a lot of people talking. And I must give thumbs up to Funke Akindele, who I think she's brilliant, by the way. I think she's not just an actress or a producer, she's also a strong businesswoman, because this woman has literally knocked out all of our competitors from the cinema. The only movie you hear when you get to the cinema right now is Ghetto. And you know the fact that there were not so many movies this year. Fixing this for December 25th, when so many people would have only that movie on their lips, is absolutely brilliant. And yes, she got that strategy right 100%. And yes, I decided to go see the movie, even though I was at the premiere of the movie, and it was quite exciting to finally see what these guys have been working on for a very long time. In case you're wondering, I'm sure you shouldn't even be wondering, when you hear Ghetto, you definitely be able to link it back to some 10-11 years ago when the real movie was first released, and it was one of the movies that really blew out Funke Akindele as the talent that she is. We've always known her to be a talent from way back of the days of I Need to Know and all that stuff, but Ghetto really just put the icing on the cake for her, and from that point she just kept flying, to what we have right now as the very established movie actress, producer, director that she is. And yes, some other people that were on the movie too from way back actually had their mega short from that movie. I'm talking about Eniola, Badmus, Bimbo, Thomas, and a couple of other people who we got to know. You know, they got to plant their feet in the movie industry from that movie. So you can understand the hype that is coming for this movie, you know, when you hear Ghetto. I mean, you can definitely liken it to Alakada, where we had you know, the first Alakada and then the second Alakada and now the third Alakada, which is the Alakada Reloaded. But unlike Alakada, right, I think the hype for Ghetto is even a lot higher, because this is probably the second one we are getting for the since the first one they had about 10 years ago. So yeah, in case you're still wondering what the storyline is about, you probably would remember, or maybe you've forgotten. I mean, 10 years has been a very long time. So in case you've forgotten, in the first one we had Funke Akindele tell the story, of course, and yes, it was written by her. It was a story. It was also produced by Scene One. You know, we had Scene One production, as well as I think Olasco International, if you remember that name for those Yoruba films from those days. So yeah, I think they were the production houses that worked on the movie as at that time, and it was a very simple story, but was told beautifully. That's why a lot of people could relate. You know, it was something different at the time. Funke Akindele playing the role of a twin. You know, one was sold off to a woman at a young age, while the father kept the other one, who was living in the ghetto, and then she picked up the ghetto life. You know, we had quite a number of people. We had Funke Akindele, who was Lefty, and also Ayomide. Lefty being the ghetto name for the one that was in the ghetto, and Ayomide being the name of the one that was sold off while she was a child. We also had Eniola, Badmus, Bimbo, Thomas. We had two other ladies in the ghetto life with Lefty. I can't remember their names now. We had Pedro Gumola, who bought Ayomide off at the time. That's Lefty's twin sister. We had Adebayo Salami, that's Oga Bello, who is Babani Baba, who sold, I mean, is the father of the twins, but sold one off and then kept one to himself. We also we had Ogogo, who played I think a DP or Inspector or General Police or something. I can't remember what he played, but he was a police officer. We also had I'm trying to remember Rachel Oniga. Yes, Rachel Oniga being the mother of the son that was dating Ayomide, as well as Yinka Kodji, the father of the guy that was dating Ayomide. That's Funke Akindele's other sister. Okay, other part. I don't even know how to put that one. So it was a very simple story of two girls, twins, living in different world, and then one committed a crime, sort of. You know, she put someone in coma, and then they were looking for her, and then they picked up Lefty that was in the ghetto. Lefty being the, you know, rugged girl that she was, you know, the ghetto lifestyle and all that stuff. But eventually the story came to an end, to the meeting point where they got to realize that they were twins, and then the father had sold one off when they were a child and all of that. So it was a very interesting, simple story that we loved at the time, inclusive of the old violent ghetto character, language, you know, the apple and shelle and all those ghetto slangs that we got from 10 years ago. And then the soundtrack too is something that you would definitely not forget from 10 years ago. So when everybody got to know about the saga, it was something that was really interesting to see. You wanted to see the new angle they were going to bring into it. And trust me when I say it was 100%. This was hotter. It was more fast-paced. It was interesting. The story was not too much. The characters brought their A game. Everything was just really perfect. For this particular story, it was almost the same thing, but this time they were changed in character. So let me quickly tell you some of the new people that were introduced to this version of Ghetto. That's Ghetto the Saga. Well, you know, we had Funke Akindele play the double, that she's Lefty and she's also Ayomide, just like the old time. We also had Eniola Badmus retain her character as Bossy. Bimbo Thomas also retained her character as Nikki. But this time we had Chioma Akpotha introduced to replace the Igbo-speaking girl we had in the first one. We had Aka, who was brilliant, by the way, as Mario. Alex Ekubo was in it as Obiwaya. Zubi Michael as Azaman. Deyemi Okonlawon as Stone. Okay, so let me point this out. So we had Deyemi Okonlawon, Aka, Alex, and Zubi Michael in one group. Okay, so we also had Chioma, Eniola Badmus, Bimbo Thomas, and Lefty in another group. So they were like the Askamaya bees who were running the Askamaya, Ghetto Live, and then we had Stone, that's Eniola and his guys on the other, and then we had the love interest between Deyemi and Lefty play out also at the same time. Apart from that, we had some other guys, that's Timini Ebusi and his guys that were G-boys, that's Yahoo boys. Also had Nancy Sime, who was playing the old girl Ghetto Live, but this time she was in the, should I call her prostitute, but basically she was working for the Yahoo boys and trying to get pimped up and all that stuff. Mesa Igwe also played the same character as Nancy Sime. Watoke Makiwa played an event planner for Mrs. Benson, who is replacing Pejo Gumala from way back. That's the one that adopted Ayomide, the second half of Lefty, that's Funke Akindele. Then we also had Eniola, who was Mogambo, introduced at the beginning of the movie, and I think she did brilliant. By the way, the scene was top notch. You know what I mean? Top notch. Although we only saw at the beginning and not nowhere else. And I was really wondering, okay, why didn't Eniola feature maybe at the end or something? But I think her appearance, either ways, was brilliant, and I enjoyed the time she spent with us on the screen. Slim Case was also in the Eniola gang as Eruku, and Ibrahim Yekini as Jericho. And basically, those are the people in the movie. Apart from the other persons, you would see like AY Ayomako, who played driver for Mrs. Benson. We also had Chigo, who played the maid for the Bensons. Wale Ojo was also in it, and I think he played a very relaxing role as husband to Ayomide, which was amazing, right? You know, I love, anywhere I see him, I like him because of that cool character. And coming from introducing the Kujas is definitely one of my favorite actors at the moment. Yes, Adebayo Salami returned playing Babani Baba Steel. That's the man that sold Ayomide to Mrs. Benson, and of course retaining Lefty for himself. So we just got introduced to the life of Lefty, trying to, get back into the Benson family, because at the end of Ghetto the last time, we were told that the twins reunited. So it was more like Tina Mba, that's Mrs. Benson now replacing Pejo Gumola, trying to now unite them and make sure that Lefty lives the ghetto life, which was almost impossible. So we saw the violence, we saw the whole coordination of, I rule this town, I run this place, I run the ghetto. Lefty was in and out of the posh life, that's staying on the island with her mother and then going back to the ghetto whenever she likes. So it was just that story they retained, but this time it was told in a more classy, mature way, because this time they're trying to show us that 10 years ago is a long time, so now there's definitely a lot more to see, and I think they did justice to that. And yes, another thing I like about this movie is the fact that, as you might want to see it as a very street, what lesson they want to bring out of the story, I think it was still brilliant that we had a story being told in between of all those drama and violence that we had. We had the love part, we had the part where they were pointing out what doing drugs would do to you, they were pointing out what being internet fraudster would do to you, they were pointing out the corruption in the police force, they pointed out what prostitution or being engaging in those kind of stuff can do to you. They were just pointing out some of those things, and it was interesting to see that everyone who engaged in that life had something come to them at the end of the day, or maybe should I say somehow answered to the law at the end of the day, at the last scene where they were taken away by the police and all that stuff. But in between all of that, again, the drama was not left out. The scripting was beautiful. I laughed 90% of the time, because the coordination, the synchronization, the synergy between the Askamaya bees, if I know there's the Askamaya bees, between the Askamaya bees on one hand, Stone and his guys on the other hand, everything was just really, really beautiful. Trust me when I say it was beautiful. How they were dropping the lines and everything was just in sync. The old ghetto language and the slangs, and then you were hearing it and it felt like it was soothing to your ears. No matter how posh you are, being in that cinema, being in that movie theater, everything just really makes sense to your ears, and then you just want to join in to say the slangs. That was how I felt for most part of it, and I'm like, no, I shouldn't even be saying something like this. I think one of the lines I even vividly remember was when, I don't know if it was Eniola Badmus now that said, now overconfidence, I think it was Funke Akindele said, now overconfidence don't make February complete. And I think also said, now overhype killed 2020. These are relatable lines, but they brought them into the movie in such a beautiful way that, I mean, they were not trying to overdo it. It just came naturally to them. I don't know how they did it. I don't know if they had to sleep and dream ghetto life, but they did it so well that it was so believable. And trust me, the coordination of the violent part, gosh, whoever directed that, you know, the whole scene in that part did a brilliant job. That guy needs to be raised up like this and given a trophy because the coordination was perfect. I was watching this movie like I was seeing a foreign movie where they are fighting and hurting each other, and I'm just like cringing. Like, I never see that kind of, I don't think I've had that kind of moment for a Nigerian movie ever. You know, the old FX, yeah, I think that's what they call it, right? FX or VFX effect. It was believable. The blood gushing out, the beating, the punches, everything was so believable. I didn't have a moment where I had to be in doubt of what they were doing, especially the part where they needed to save Ayomide from the kidnappers. That's the revenge game that happened between Lefty and her girls, as Kamaya Bees, and then Stone, that's Femi Stone and his guys, and then led to Ayomide being kidnapped. That whole scene, I don't know how many times they shot it, but that whole scene, right? I need them to bring it out like this. I use it to teach other people on how to create, you know, action and fight and all that stuff, because I know there have been some kind of movies this year that tried to toe that line, but they turned out to be nonsense. I won't mention this, but you know those movies. But this one was, even the part they were trying to fling axe and all that stuff, I don't even know what that knife is called. I'm like, you know that part, I was like, guys, they did justice to those parts. Like, amazing work they did for that part. And yes, like I said, the storyline was still very much intact. You know, at the end of the day, we got the lessons, we got the morals, we got what they wanted us to get. And I think I really liked it about the whole, I liked how it all played out, you know, and the humor was not even lost. It was not too much. It was beautiful. Everyone was where they were meant to be. The characters was, the characters in the movie, I think, was quite a lot. I mean, there were a lot of people that I can't even remember now that are in the movie. I saw Brother Shaggy in one of the scenes, and he played his role well, and he did it well. Okay, so I think one of the things they also learned is how to make use of characters, even if they're going to appear in one scene. I've said it before. If you saw my review for Alakada Reloaded, what's that one? Yeah, the new Alakada, right? I said it that even if you want to use 100 people in your movie, use them well. And this is one thing I feel Funke Akindele learned perfectly in this movie, unlike what we saw in Your Excellency. She probably learned from her mistake because we had so many people, but they featured and blended. Yeah, I think that's the word. They featured and blended very well. For instance, I was not expecting to see Brother Shaggy. I didn't even know Brother Shaggy's in the movie. But when he featured, when he came on board, he played his part, left his impact, we felt it, and he left. You know, it was just one scene and he left. Same thing with Yemi Alade. She came in, played her part, and she left. Yes, we probably felt, I missed her personally because I was expecting her to come back with all those, you know. But the part we saw was interesting enough to say, okay, this was brilliant. And I think that's one thing not so many movie producers have come to learn. Sometimes they have too many unnecessary people in a movie and they don't even know how to place them. But this one, I think everyone was able to bring their efforts into each other and it just worked perfectly for me. And yes, I just kept asking myself, what's my favorite part of this? Another thing that I really like is the use of language, the way they blended the Pidgin, the English, the Yoruba, the Hausa, the Igbo. Chioma, Akpotha? Gosh, that lady killed a character, like, she murdered a character 100%. I didn't expect that kind of stellar performance from her. I don't know if I've ever seen her in that kind of way, but she killed a character in that movie. And that's what I was going to say earlier on, that I don't even know who is my favorite on this one. Definitely not Funke Akindele, okay? Because yes, I know Funke, yeah, she did that role very well. Bosti was amazing. Nikki was awesome. But Choco, Chioma Akpotha, gosh, thinking that she was newly introduced into the movie, replacing the other girl from the old one, she killed it. And yes, another person I think did an amazing job is Stone. Femi Stone was amazing. That's Deyemi Okolawon. I think this is the first time I was seeing him play this kind of role, and he did justice to it. It wasn't trying too much, it just became really natural at some point. And to think that they were able to take us on some form of emotional roller coaster with Lefty falling in love, and how she reacted to Femi Stone betraying her. All of that was interesting. In fact, when she started crying at some point, I'm like, okay, Lefty gonna make us go emotional? That's new. But it was really nice. I liked it. I liked the old touch and sense of emotion and collectiveness that came with the Askamaya bees. The lessons were just really hanging there for us to pick, and I think I totally loved how they did it. I loved, and I think I was also very excited to see David Jones on this one. Remember that I think for me, I call him my Instagram sensation when it comes to drug abuse and all that stuff. That's kicking against drug abuse and all of that. So yeah, I was happy to see him at the last part where he led them to free Ayomide from Femi Stone and his gang. So yeah, the movie generally I think is in fact, everybody in the cinema kept screaming, okay, this is nice, okay, this is nice, these guys killed it, it was worth the hype. Because I was pretty scared, okay, for someone who knew how much work they put into this, I was pretty scared that it was not going to turn out the way I hoped. But trust me, they beat my expectation hands down. Another thing I feel like these guys worked hard on, okay, for a movie of this type is their soundtrack. One of the things that made Ghetto relevant and resounding at the time was the soundtrack. And the fact that they were able to calm down to give us a soundtrack. In fact, they released the soundtrack before the premiere and before it came to the cinema, and the soundtrack went viral. Yeah, so they really did justice to bringing back the soundtrack that killed the expectation. It just gave the expectation for the movie, like it took it to like 1000%, if there's anything like that. And the other songs that were introduced in the movie, like for different scenes and different situations, I think it was really brilliant too. And one of the things that keep your viewers, okay, in check whenever they're watching, especially when you feel like some parts are already dragging, is the music you introduce to it. For some part I was just dancing like yeah and I liked it. It just keeps us alive, it keeps us moving with you no matter how long the movie is. And talking about length, right, I think this is another thing I've always talked about for Nigerian movies. I don't know why they're always this long. 2 hours. I know your movie is interesting, but be serious. Some of us have, attention span is really, really short. Okay, so I feel like they should stop dragging things. I don't think they really dragged anything like seriously here. Nothing was not too much. They dragged, but it was not excessive like you would have in some other movies. They still had direction even in their drags. It was still interesting. They still kept us. But generally, I feel like Nollywood should just bring it back. 1 hour 30 minutes, tell your story and we're good to go. But on a general note, I would not even fault their own 2 hours because I enjoyed my 2 hours. I didn't want it to end. But talking about the ending, how it ended kind of gave us a clue that we're going to have another part, because at the end, Funke Akindele Lefty was telling Femi Stone that it is not over. And I wanted to tell them, please, can this be over? Well, maybe to take them another 5 to 10 years to come up with another story. But I think that they're definitely going to enjoy the shine that is coming with this one right now for a very long time, because this is a beautiful movie. In comparison with what I talked about some time back about advert placement or how they place product adverts in movies, I think they did their own beautifully, and that's how they kept pushing Amen Estate to our faces, and we got the point, but it was not done carelessly. It was still infused perfectly into the movie, which I really like. Okay, I liked it. I really liked how they blended it. So for most part of the movie, we understood that we're in Amen our estate, and we just blended with the reality of being in Amen estate, which was nice. I didn't have a problem with it at all. I didn't have a problem with it. Generally, guys, this movie is awesome. It did it for me, right? I don't even know, apart from the fact that, okay, maybe some part, like I said, some parts were dragged, sound was not well regulated in some parts, because it's a ghetto violent kind of thing. So some people's voices were really loud, it was itchy to the ears. Apart from sound regulation, I think all the cast, they brought their A game. Everything went well for me. The story wasn't bad after all. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Ghetto the Saga. I really don't know what to fault. I faulted some things, but generally it was amazing. It was good. Definitely going to rate it my best movie for 2020, the best movie I'm reviewing for 2020. Okay, I'm not going to tell you my overall score, but I think this is the best movie I'm reviewing for 2020. Definitely worth the hype. I am happy that people are coming out to see it. I mean, the cinema, I watch movies, usually we don't have more than 10-15 people, but this time the hall was full to the brim when I went to see Ghetto the Saga for the very first time. Okay, so I think it is doing what it is expected to do for people, and yeah, after all, it's Funke Akindele, so what do you expect? So guys, I think this movie is nice and you should go see it, but let me know what you think when you come back from seeing the movie. Everyone did well, okay? Well, I can't even bring out someone, maybe the not so top character, maybe the waka past people, and not all of them. I think I've really had issues with Chioma at some point, but it's all good. Every other person, everybody did well. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say. Everybody did well. I think I also had issues with Mercy Aigbe's character, because I felt like, why is Mercy Aigbe coming down to that level? But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna let it pass. Okay, I'm gonna let it pass. So yes, you should go see Ghetto the Saga and let me know what you think about the movie. This is what I think. I think it was brilliant, and I'm sure for those people who always want to hear what I think about movies before they go see it, I'm giving this a thumbs up. So go see it and let's chat in the comment section to know what you think when you're done seeing it. It's worth your money. Just when I say that, it's worth your money. Guys, this is all I'm going to say right now. I don't know if we're going to have any other movie. I know I'm owing you guys review for Kwam's Money, review for Nika, the Pretty Serpent. I'm going to try catch up and bring them to you as soon as I can. But remember to like and subscribe to this one. And yes, please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. My name is Elisha Moyesorilu. I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.